Hello everyone and welcome to the lecture on Docker. So this lecture will contain all these topics. What is Docker? What is a container? Docker components, Docker file, Docker versus virtual machines, Docker commands overview and popular container engines. So the first topic is what is Docker? So Docker is an open platform for developing, shipping and running applications. Docker enables you to separate your applications from your infrastructure so you can deliver software quickly. With Docker, you can manage your infrastructure in the same ways you manage your applications. By taking advantage of Docker's methodologies for shipping, testing, and deploying code, you can significantly reduce the delay between writing code and running it in production. Second topic is what is container or what is containerization. So containers allow applications to be packaged and run in loosely isolated, secure environments, enabling multiple containers to run simultaneously on a single host. Containers are lightweight and include everything needed to run an application, eliminating reliance on the host specific installation. The technology ensures consistent application behavior across different environments, making it easy to share work reliably. Docker provides a comprehensive platform for managing the application lifecycle, including development, distribution, and testing within containers. Applications can be seamlessly deployed to diverse production environments such as local data centers, cloud providers, or hybrid infrastructures. Third topic is Docker components. So first one is Docker client. The Docker client is the primary way users interact with the Docker platform. The Docker client provides a command line interface CLI or graphical user interface like Docker Desktop to manage Docker objects. The Docker client sends commands to the Docker daemon, which is responsible for executing them. Second one is Docker daemon. The Docker daemon is the core component that manages Docker objects like images, containers, networks, and volumes, and runs on the host machine. The Docker daemon communicates with the Docker client via REST API, CLI, or GUI. The Docker client allows users to interact with the Docker daemon and issuing commands to manage containers, images, and other resources. Next one is container runtime. Container runtime such as Containerd or runc handles running and managing containers. The Docker daemon communicates with the container runtime to create, start, stop, and monitor containers. Then comes Docker images. Docker images are read-only layered templates with the application, dependencies, and runtime environment for creating containers. So if you see a Docker image, it will basically a single file, but it is constructed layer by layer. So I'll show you that when I discuss the Docker file. Images can be built from a Docker file or pulled from public or private repository like Docker Hub. Next one is Docker container. Docker containers are lightweight, isolated environments created from Docker images. So the topic which I previously talked about, containerization or the containers. So Docker offers containers also. Next one is Docker registry. Docker registry is a centralized service for storing and distributing Docker images, making it easy to share and access images across different environments. Docker Hub is a popular example of a Docker registry. Next one is Docker Hub. Docker Hub is a cloud-based service for storing, sharing, and distributing Docker images in public or private repository. It seamlessly integrates with the Docker CLI and Docker Desktop for easy access to images. So there are other registries as well, but Docker Hub is the most popular one. You can always create your own private registry. And some example is like AWS has got their own public registry as well. Next one is the Docker file. A Docker file contains instructions for building a Docker image, including the base image, application code, dependencies, and configurations. Next component is Docker Compose. Docker Compose simplifies the management of multi-container applications by using a YAML file to define services, networks, and volumes. With a single command, you can create and start all services defined in the configuration file. Fourth topic is Docker file. So this is an example Docker file. This is just to remind you what is a Docker file. So a Docker file contains instructions for building a Docker image, including the base image, application code, dependencies, and configurations. So mostly when you write a Docker file, you have to start with some base image. So we are using this, and this will be available in Docker Hub. Then we can set up work dir. So this will set the working directory inside the container. So this is not on your host machine. This is what the Docker image that you are building. You are saying that will be the work directory. So we are setting it to /app. So subsequent commands will run from this folder. So basically it's like you do a pwd. So this will just set everything you run from this /app. Third step, for example, let's say your copy. So copies files from your local machine current folder to the containers apps folder. So whatever is there in this, wherever you run this Docker file, all the file we are copying from the current directory to the app directory. And then inside the Docker image, let's say we are running, so execute a command during the build process. So let's say this has copied requirements.txt, then we are doing this particular command. So pip install, and so this will be run inside the Docker image. And then this is cmd, the command that runs when the container starts. So when you start the Docker container, it will issue this command. So this app.py would be copied during this copy part, and this also requirements.txt, and this will be copied. So there will be a lot of files, not only these two, there will be other files which will go into app. And what I talked about layered file, so Docker will just create like layers. So this will be layer 1, and for example this will be layer 2, and there will be some more layers. So every step, so for example copy will create a layer. So when you change something, it will see whether the layer has changed or not through the hash, and if there is a change, it will just update that particular layer. And finally it will give you one final image that you refer, and you run, you push or you pull, whatever. So I'll cover those Docker commands as well. Next topic is Docker versus virtual machines. So I'll compare the feature Docker containers and virtual machines. Docker containers use process level isolation with namespaces and C groups, while virtual machines use hardware level isolation with a hypervisor. Containers have low resource overhead, sharing the host OS kernel, while VMs have high overhead, running a full OS on each VM. Docker containers start quickly and have small image sizes, while VMs take longer to start and have larger image sizes. Containers are highly portable and offer near native performance, while VMs have lower portability and slightly reduced performance due to hardware emulation. Next is scalability, management, and networking. Docker containers are highly scalable and can run many instances on a single host, while VMs are less scalable due to resource limitations and overhead. Container management is centralized with the Docker engine, while VMs are often managed individually or with hypervisor tools. Docker containers use storage and networking plugins, while VMs rely on virtualized storage and networking solutions. Next, versioning, sharing, and configuration. Docker images can be easily versioned and shared using Docker Hub, while VMs may require more complex processes such as taking snapshots and exporting them. Docker containers use Docker files or Docker compose.yaml for configuration, while virtual machines have their own specific configuration files. Docker provides a simpler and more streamlined approach to versioning, sharing, and configuration compared to VMs. Security considerations. So Docker containers have process level isolation which may be less secure than the stronger isolation provided by virtual machines. Both technologies have potential security concerns, but the choice depends on the specific application and project requirements. Docker is ideal for quick deployment and scaling, while VMs may be more suitable for applications that require complete isolation or running multiple different operating systems on a single host. Sixth topic is I will cover some Docker commands. So these will be popular Docker commands. They cover wide functionality range, and I'll be talking about the usage instruction and some brief description also and typical use cases. So first one is Docker version. This displays the installed Docker version. And this is the first command that you can run if you are just checking which version, if there is any issues, whether the versions are same or not. Docker info provides system-wide information about the Docker installation and host system, including the number of containers, images, and other related data. Docker pull downloads a Docker image from a registry like Docker Hub. This is useful for getting base images or updating existing ones. Docker push uploads a Docker image to a registry, and that allows users to share custom images or store them remotely. Docker images list all Docker images on the local system, showing details like repository, tag, and size. Next set of commands will be on building and running containers. So Docker build creates a Docker image from a Docker file in the current directory and allows customizations of settings, applications, and configurations. Docker run starts a new container from a specified image, useful for running applications, services, or tasks. Docker ps lists currently running containers and their details. Docker ps-a shows all containers including the stopped ones. Docker start restarts a stopped container. Docker stop halts a running container. This can be useful for maintenance tasks or stopping unneeded containers. Next set of command will be around managing containers and images. Docker rm, so this deletes a stopped container, freeing up system resources. Docker rmi, this removes a Docker image from the local system. Docker exec runs a specified command inside a running container, useful for debugging, interacting with applications, or managing the container's environment. Docker logs show the logs of a container, useful for troubleshooting or monitoring activities. Docker attach connects the current shell to a running container, and it allows direct interaction or output monitoring. Docker cp copies files or directories between a container and the local file system. This can be useful for transferring configuration files, data, or logs. Next, I'll cover some advanced Docker commands. Docker commit saves a container's current state as a new image, capturing changes like installed packages or modified files for future use. Docker network create establishes a custom Docker network, enhancing isolation, security, or communication between containers. Docker volume create generates a named Docker volume for persistent data storage, enabling data persistence across container restarts or data sharing between containers. Seventh topic is some popular container engines. So we have the Docker, which is the most popular container engine and uses Containerd as its runtime. Containerd is a standalone container runtime used by Docker and can be used by Kubernetes also. CRI or CRIO is a lightweight container runtime designed specifically for Kubernetes. Runc is a CLI tool for spawning and running containers according to the OCI specification. Podman is a daemonless open source container engine compatible with the Docker CLI and Docker Compose. LXD is a container and virtual machine manager built on top of LXC Linux containers. And lastly, Kubernetes is a container orchestration platform that can work with multiple container runtimes. So Kubernetes is like a container orchestrator. It needs one of the container runtime. It could be Containerd, or it could be Docker or any other container technology that follows the OCI specification. And that's all. Thanks for watching.